Bax and Grant Sports Show, presented by Sports Radio America. I'm Bax.
And this is Grant.
It's Friday, Grant. We made it.
It's Friday.
Woo! I'm actually not too mad that I knew that you were going to do that.
I always do.
At
I always do.
At that point, I was like, well, if Grant's going to sing It's Friday, maybe I'll just make some ruckus and it'll be okay. And it'll be over quickly.
Ruckus.
Make a little ruckus and everybody.
Ruckus.
Ruckus. Well, anyway, welcome to the show, everybody. We're excited. It's a Friday edition of the Bax and Grant Sports Show. We've got a lot of fun things in store for you today. We'll be joined later in the show by Sam Wallace as he continues his Running 101 tips for you, as you can learn to become a better runner and learn about different shoes that will help you to become a more gooder runner. Now, a better runner. I just like to say more gooder.
Gooder, better runner.
A more gooder, better, funner runner. Eating a Nutter Butter. Grant has his rant later in the show, so he's excited about that. There's some new news in the NFL that needs to be
talked about,
because that's ranted about.
Ugh.
It is. It's a little frustrating.
Gross.
I almost wanted to hear rant first, but we're not. We're going to keep the pokes waiting. Name 5 is going to be taking place today, and we have a new one today. It'll be myself against Grant.
Unfair advantage. You know the questions ahead of time.
Not necessarily.
Yes, necessarily. You know them all. You wrote them all.
It's still irrelevant to the conversation. Anyway, that's fine. It's fine. But I will also be joined in our second segment by Kirsten Eyre as well. She'll be having a new segment on our show. She'll be coming on weekly on the show. She is a fantastic sports broadcaster and journalist down in Texas, and she will be joining our show next segment to talk about the Green Bay Packers and a sports fan's bucket list as well. So exciting things to get to. But before we get to all of that, we do want to remind you that you can catch us Monday through Friday from 7 to 8 a.m. Central right here on Spreaker.com. You can also catch us on Sports Radio America from 11 to 1 p.m. Central on Live 365 and tune in. And then you can listen to us on demand anytime you want on iHeartRadio, iTunes, and on Spreaker.com.
And you can also find us on Facebook at the Bax and Grant Sports Show. You can head over to Twitter and Instagram and find us at BG Sports Show. And if you go over to Twitter, Baxter is at Baxter Colburn, and I am at Grant's Rant BGSS.
Absolutely. And a special thanks to all of you watching us on Periscope. Hello to all of you. I'm so excited that Periscope finally fixed their apps, and you can now broadcast in landscape mode. So we have a wide camera shot instead of looking through a crack in a door, basically.
Pretty much. That's pretty much what it was. Grant and I never looked so skinny as in, the portrait version in landscape mode. And now that we are portrait mode in Periscope, and now that we are in landscape mode, you can see all of us. It's a beautiful thing. We don't have to, basically be sitting on each other's laps to make sure we're in the shot. So I've returned to my chair. Grant has returned to his own chair. It's a wonderful thing. So we're excited for it. Grant, you keep reveling over your fantasy football score. Oh.
Why are you so happy this early in the morning?
Because Rob Gronkowski went and got me 27 points last night.
27.
Against Kenyon.
Against David Kenyon, our football encyclopedia and apparently Latin expert as well when it comes to stats.
And also, David had Tom Brady and benched him. I don't know if he forgot.
I don't think he forgot. He doesn't forget about most things.
I know. I was like, that doesn't seem like...
It's a mind game, Grant.
I don't know. I'm so nervous now.
You are. You were freaking out. I saw that last night, and I was watching halfway through the game, and I'm like, I wonder, how Kenny's doing. I wonder how Grant's doing. So I went and checked our fantasy football league, and I was like, okay, Grant started Gronkowski. Good for him. He's getting some points. And I'm like, let's see how David did. I'm like, he didn't start Tom Brady. What's going on here? He's got Sam Bradford as his starting quarterback this week. Now, stranger things have happened, but to get 27 points from your quarterback opening day it's a little hard to, have that happen for more than one quarterback.
You know what? I'm guessing he just didn't think that Brady was going to do well and that, that Bradford was going to do better in the opening game. I don't know.
Maybe.
I mean, look, hindsight is 20/20,
Yeah. Well, let's look at it. Last night, Tom Brady, 25 of 32 for 288 yards and 4 touchdowns. That's not bad. That's a pretty good opening day in anybody's opinion.
I'd say that's an excellent opening day.
Some people are excited. We have Keocht on Periscope saying that they were very glad, and they played Gronk as well in their fantasy league, so Grant is giving them a virtual fist bump via Periscope, so I'm sure you're excited about that.
It's very nice to pick up 27 points from your tight end.
From one position. If you can get, most people are lucky if they average 27 points between 2 or 3 players in a week, so you got 27 from one. That might be your stud right off the bat, and that might be a continued thing that we see all season long from Gronkowski.
And people were saying I picked him up early.
As long as he doesn't have a Jimmy Graham type year where everyone would jump down the Jimmy Graham train last year, myself included. I was that guy that drafted him last year and got smoked because of how awful he played. I also drafted Colin Kaepernick last year because he'll have a good year.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it was. It was very unfortunate. That's why I was 4 in 100 last year in my fantasy league. It wasn't. I was like 4 and 12 or 4 and 10. It was a bad year. It was a rebuilding year. It was a rebuilding year for the underwater basket weavers last year.
Rebuilding season.
Yes. Now we've got a new name, a new ownership group. We're excited. We're positive things moving forward with the Naples Flash this year. We're very excited. We're very optimistic about our season. Never once have I said optimistic about a team that had Tony Romo as his quarterback, but that's the route I went this year.
Shots fired.
We'll see what happens.
Shots fired.
He's my quarterback this year. That's my quarterback, as Terrell Owens would say.
It's my quarterback. Oh, my gosh. That's a flashback.
Bring that back into your memory.
It's my quarterback.
I've seen that used in memes. I've seen just little vines about that.
I forgot about that.
You're welcome.
When was that? That was forever
when
ago.
T.O. played for the Cowboys.
Right.
So
that was years ago.
I always forget that, T.O. and Randy Moss and all those guys.
It was a post-game interview, right?
Okay, digression number 1 for the day. We feel like we need to keep tallies of how many times we go off topic.
All the time.
I saw, speaking of Randy Moss, have you seen the new DirecTV commercials where, hi, I'm Rob Lowe, and I have DirecTV, and hi, I'm Rob Lowe, and I have cable? Well, now they have Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning, and Randy Moss doing them.
Oh, no.
And they are hilarious.
I have to look these up.
Hilarious.
I have to look these up then.
Yes, yeah, there's the brief ones.
Because they're the different personalities, right?
Yeah, Andrew Luck, his normal Andrew Luck, in a suit, and then his guy is like this long, bearded, scraggly-looking Andrew Luck. Peyton Manning is like a high-singing, like yodeling Andrew Luck or Peyton Manning, and then Randy Moss is like a 4'5" Randy Moss as opposed to his like 5'5". So it's a little funny, honestly. And they were going on during the game last night, and I was having a good laugh.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was funny. So this game, though, on all accounts, I feel like it went pretty much how most people thought it was going to go. New England winning 28-21 last night, proving their dominance. It was a wet, sloppy game at times, but it was raining. What do you expect? It's not going to be a clean-cut game. Tom Brady came out and did, I think, what most thought he would do.
Well, I would disagree with you when you say most. People were saying that he didn't look the best in preseason, which, he had everything going on, so it's not like people are chastising him for that.
No,
but they're just saying he didn't have that great of a preseason, and that everything going on,
yes.
He just wasn't going to perform as well. Then he came out and just everybody who said that he proved them being wrong. I never really thought that. I think Tom Brady is a great quarterback, and great quarterbacks, can just block that out. I also think he has a bit of an ego that he think he can beat everybody, so he didn't really care whatsoever. And I think he's a bad person in that respect. But anyway, I just from all of his personality, I just get that he just doesn't care.
Well,
and so that I
think
when
about
people
is
like, oh, he has everything going on, I'm like, no, he said, oh, I don't care, just can put it in my back pocket and then just go play whenever I want.
Oh, that's funny. Sorry, there is a comment on Periscope that said if we can hear the Patriots play-by-play in our headsets. And actually, no, we're the visiting team, so they stopped working halfway through our broadcast, so we can't hear anything that's going on with their play-by-play. But think about it. You say Tom Brady, he's got an ego. Well, look at his life. He's won how many Super Bowls? He's won 4.
4. He's
won 3 Super Bowl MVPs. He also has a gorgeous wife, a beautiful family, promotional deals up the wazoo, more money than you ever could want. That does come with being confident, though. You have to be confident to a point.
There's some choice words that I'm not going to say I'm thinking that could describe him. But
and people could make arguments about even our beloved Green Bay Packers quarterbaff Aaron Rodgers.
He's a lovely man. If anybody says anything against him, I'll get him.
Well, he's that stereotypical quarterback, though. He's got all this money. He does all this promotional work, but he's also got that model girlfriend that is really pretty, and he does all these things to look like he's having a good time. But people could rub that the wrong way too and say, "Oh, his charity work is just a way for him to show that he's trying to be a normal person." It's all.
Just side note, Des caught it. No, he didn't. He dropped it. I'm just pointing that out. Somebody commented that. I'm just setting the record straight. I only tell the truth. You're wrong. Anyway, but then you look at Aaron Rodgers. He goes around and he makes all these promotional videos. Yes. And I don't see Tom Brady doing that. Maybe that's because I don't live in the area and I don't see that stuff.
Tom Brady's past his promotional days, though. If it's not an UGG boots commercial, which he had at least 3 pairs on during the games last night because they got wet and they're not very water resistant, he had to switch them out during the game. When he's past that promotional point. He does.
I don't think you're ever past that promotional point as a player. I mean,
when you're
Peyton Manning still does.
Well, Peyton Manning is
pizza commercials.
Peyton Manning and Papa John's are forever interwoven. Tom is not as professional as Peyton, I'd say, or even Andrew Luck for that matter. Not that. On the promotional side of things. When it comes to football, Tom's one of the most serious professional guys out there. Peyton Manning is much more laid back. We've seen his commercials. We've seen him do his Saturday Night Live stuff. Like, Peyton Manning's hilarious. The Manning family is hilarious. I think that's just a gene that passed along with being good athletes.
Yeah, but Tom Brady. I just have words, and I'm trying to be really careful how I word them because
I appreciate you being careful with
I'm trying to be really careful, but then at the same time say what I mean because I just don't
say what you need to say.
Because you bring up Aaron Rodgers and you can't make that because
Aaron elite quarterbacks
because
to each other.
Aaron Rodgers, but look at all the cheating scandals that have been happening and how he's been handling.
Alleged.
Really?
I'm not going to get into it.
Really? Are we going there right now?
We're not going to go in there right now.
Are we going there right now?
No, we're not going to go there.
Everybody knows for a fact he has had something to do with everything.
With everything?
With everything that's been going on. Maybe not the headset thing.
Is he the reason that Eve took the apple off the tree?
Yes.
We're going to go back that far and say
pretty
that
much.
It went all the way back there. I think that's a little too far, Grant.
But you know what's worse than Tom Brady just being all pompous about everything?
Oh, gosh.
It's the Patriots fans saying he has not done anything.
Oh.
That's the most annoying
thing. Is that the Patriots fans?
The most annoying thing is Patriots fans.
Okay.
Not Dallas Cowboys fans, which rank number 2.
Dallas Cowboy fans, you're calling them less annoying than Brady Defender fans?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, that's how bad they are in my mind.
What about Bears fans?
I don't care. They know their team is bad. I know a couple of Bears fans here that are like, I'll just cheer for, the Packers just because that's the only thing I really can do this season.
What about Seahawks fans?
Seahawks fans are actually fairly decent. I mean, their team is good. They beat the Packers a few times.
Yeah.
So it's they're not like annoying. They have the 12th man. They're loud, but they're not super obnoxious.
That's true. I do find it interesting, and I heard this stat the other day. As Seattle takes on St. Louis this coming Sunday, just as a side note, because this is what we do. Seattle is 1-2 under Russell Wilson at St. Louis.
Interesting.
So when Seattle plays St. Louis this weekend,
and then they gotta go to Lambeau Field.
Seattle starting off on the road back-to-back. Seattle's not good on the road traditionally.
Really?
Fun fact. Anyway, one other point I wanted to make about this game last night, Grant. 2 points. Number one, Tom Brady looked like he had all the time in the world last night, and it was interesting because he had a rookie guard and a rookie center.
Right.
An hour before the game starts, there is a report that comes out that says the starting Patriots center cannot play. He's on the inactive list, which means the undrafted rookie center out of Georgia, I forget his name, started last night.
Well, yes.
But he played well.
Yeah, that's great and all, and they were talking about it in NFL Insiders before the game, and they were talking about how the Patriots really like to build the middle of their team, and that one of the last things you want to do in your opening game on a rainy day when
you've had a rocky offseason is have a center. Is not having your veteran center, so they're all concerned about the center thing. And then he comes up. He came out and played fantastic. Yeah. You know what it really was?
What
it really was? It was just how bad the Steelers defense was.
Well, yes and no, but you have to take into the fact that it was raining. So there was number one. The Patriots ran a lot of shotgun last night. They did, which means there's that 5 to 6 yards of that ball being, or I think it's like 3 to 4 yards of that ball getting snapped to you. And you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how exactly the ball is going to get to you. But the honest opinion, though, about that is that, I thought he played well. For being a rookie, undrafted free agent, saying, hey, look, here's your first game that you're going to start in the NFL is opening night against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't care if the Pittsburgh Steelers doesn't have that steel curtain D-line linebackers anymore. It's still a formidable opponent to go against.
Yeah, but then also you can say, well, if it wasn't on the linebackers and the defensive line, you could also say, well, what about the secondary and maybe get some coverage sacks?
Oh, exactly. But there was 2 sacks last night. There was 2 sacks last night.
Okay, 2 sacks.
One of them was a wide open hit that the safety disguised his blitz well, came through and had an open parting of the Red Sea and just trucked Brady to the ground. And Brady saw it coming, so he was able to react accordingly. But still, the Steelers got 2 sacks last night on Brady, which I think can be semi-commendable because Brady's a guy that traditionally doesn't go down very often.
Yeah, but you still need... sacks aside and everything, they didn't stop the running game from DeAngelo Williams. The backup running back ran 127 yards on them, 21 carries, averaged 6 yards a carry, and his long was only 28, so it's not like he had a huge... long run that just boosted his stats. He just ground and pounded the whole game. And, for some reason, I just flipped the teams. I was trying to
plays for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, yes. DeAngelo plays for Pittsburgh.
But DeAngelo did have a fantastic game last night.
Yeah, for that aside, he had a great game. But I was going to talk about Dion Lewis. 15 carries for 69 yards. 4.6 yards average, 13 was his long. It's not like he had a big explosive game like DeAngelo Williams.
It was enough.
But 4.6 yards a carry is not bad. And you need to be able to stop with linebackers for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You need to be able to stop the run game a little bit better and get more pressure on the quarterback because the Steelers defense did not do that last night. And that, I think, is a big part why they lost the game.
Absolutely. Well, we need to go to a break. When we come back, Kirsten Ayer will be on our show to talk about the Green Bay Packers and give her sports fan bucket list as well. You're not going to want to miss it. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Bax and Grant Sports Show, presented by Sports Radio America. I'm Bax.
And this is Grant.
Welcome back inside the studio. It is Friday, Grant. We are super excited. Football season has officially begun. The Patriots grabbing a 28-21 lead or victory last night, not even just a lead. Grant is enthralled, infatuated, just obsessed that he has a 27-point lead over our football encyclopedia, David Kenyon, even though none of David's players played last night.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm just waiting for
it's the calm before the storm. It's going to probably be like 150-28 on Sunday.
I just wanted so bad last night to jokingly talk trash to him just because the whole week I've been saying I was going to lose, and then then I changed from I'm coming for you. And then I'm oh, 27 points. But I just know he's just going to come back and destroy. He's sitting in the weeds.
He is. He's sitting in his lair, just oh,
he thinks I made a mistake.
Oh, Grant.
But no.
Sam Bradford
gonna drop a 50 bomb Oh no!
Yes.
It's gonna happen now. Just watch.
It usually does. That's how. Just when it comes to the world of David Kenyon, I'm not even surprised with half the things that he does anymore. He was the guy that drafted Tom Brady and Le'Veon Bell in our fantasy football drafts, and we're like, well, they're suspended, and then boom, 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 everything's happy. And now they're moving forward.
And he also drafted Arian Foster.
He did.
And look who might be coming back week 2 now.
That's why we call
projected to come back week 8.
Instead of Encyclopedia Brown, we need Encyclopedia Kenyon because that's just who.
Pretty much.
That's who he is. Well, Grant, we have a new segment this week that we are excited to debut. Friday seems to be the day for new segments. Sam Wallace will be on a little bit later on the show talking about his running segment. As much as I love Sam, we're not talking to Sam right now. We're talking to Kirsten Eyre, who is a acclaimed sports broadcaster and journalist and an all-around awesome person, not only because she's a Green Bay Packers fan, but just because she has worked her way through the sports industry at a young age and continues to do so. And we are excited to welcome her to the Bax and Grant Sports Show lineup, as she will be doing some different content for us throughout the week. So with that being said, Kirsten, we'd like you welcome to the show. How you doing this morning?
I'm good, thank you, and so much for having me on the show. A little about me. I love sports. It's that simple. I grew up with sports at such a young age, being an only child with my dad. He raised me watching Notre Dame football, going to South Bend, Indiana, just going to the games. And, of course, being a Packers fan, we have an uncle who had season tickets, so I would go to the end zone and have Lambeau Leaps happen with, Brett Favre at such a young age and John Driver. Kind of like about my what I do in college, I work for a radio station, KTSW. It's on FM 89.9 San Marcos. And my freshman year, I was already a sports broadcaster, color analyst for Texas State softball and volleyball and the soccer games. And throughout my college career, I have become a sports producer for the games, a sports reporter, a blogger, social media content advisor, and a videographer. And some of the interviews I've had at Texas State is one with David Mayo, and he's a rookie linebacker for Carolina Panthers, going to be this upcoming season in the fall. And he was the second leading tackler in the country last year in the Sun Belt Conference Defensive Player of the Year. So that's kind of the exposure I've had at Texas State. And during the summer and the fall, I have a sports internship at WOAI TV San Antonio. During the summer, I went to the Spurs press conference. I met LaMarcus Aldridge and Greg Popovich, and so I was able to kind of interview them. I'm the president of the Texas State Broadcasting Society at Texas State, and this January, I started my sports blog. And really, that's a sports talk through a female's perspective. I really want to make sports more to the eyes of people who've never, seen sports. And I want to write in a friendly, conversational way, just like I'm talking to friends. And so I've already gotten over 1,700 followers just by January and almost 8,000 hits. So I really want to make it more of, like a friendly conversation with people that haven't met me before and introduce sports to people who've never seen it before and make it more, like I said, like conversational. And so that's about my blog. And you can find my blog at sportschick101.wordpress.com to kind of get an idea on that. And going off, I know you said like the Packers-Bears game is going to see this Sunday, and I'm really excited about that. I really want to see how the divisional rivalry goes because I know Packer fans and Bears fans, they always go at it, and that's going to be like a huge, game to start the season off.
Honestly, it's going to be an exciting game. We're really looking forward to it. I know that up here in Wisconsin, it's just a buzz around it. I mean, even on social media, it's rivalry week, it's Bears week. People know that. There's been Jay Cutler memes. There's been all
everywhere. The Jay Cutler memes have been everywhere.
They have. It's consistent, if nothing else. Unlike Jay Cutler's passing game. I mean, it's consistently bad if we know for anything.
Right.
I think the Packers game, though, is going to be an exciting time, Kirsten. I just want to go back and comment for a moment just on everything that you've done, which is exciting. I mean, I think the fact that, I want to commend you first and foremost for all the work that you've done at such a young age. And now you said that, what grade are you now in college, though? I know you still attend Texas State.
Well, I'm like a junior at Texas State, and so I'm only 21, and so I'm trying to, do the best I can in college so when I go out and try to get a job, I can be ready and prepared.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure you still have another year still left in college. Well, that's amazing, that you've done so much in such a short amount of time. I mean, even for the stuff that I've been doing for my broadcasting, I didn't get a start really until about my sophomore or junior year of college. So you've got a leg up on me, and it seems like you've really done a great job so far. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the Packers. You have a different perspective. You are down in Texas right now, and probably the vibe around campus is, the Texans play this week, or the Cowboys play this week. Do you have any Packer fans down by you at all?
Honestly, there's a little fan club. I think there's about 5 kids on campus that I know, and there's actually some kids from Green Bay that transferred to San Marcos. And so every Sunday we go to a bar and we just watch the games, and we have our jerseys on. And yes, we kind of get yelled at because everyone's a Cowboy fan. But you know what? I wear my cheetah proudly, and my Packers win, and it's a really great day. So I really enjoy representing the Packers on my campus, because I get respect from the Packers. No one ever really says anything bad, because there's nothing to ever say something bad about the Packers. They are legendary, and they are, I say, America's team.
Absolutely. No, I mean, I think that is commendable within itself. Now, as we look towards this upcoming game, we know that Green Bay's favored. They're only favored by 7, which I think is a little bit of an understatement, and I think, Grant, you'll agree with me on that one.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
As you move forward looking at this game, what would you say is a more realistic idea of how this game is going to go? It's not going to be a 7-point game. There's just absolutely no way that Green Bay is going to win by 7.
You go from last year to being the Bears getting blown out, Packers putting obscene amount of points on them, and then you go and they only have a 7-point deficit.
Not feeling it. Not feeling it at all. Kirsten, how do you feel this game's going to go?
Yes. Well, I know it's John Fox. It's a new era for the Bears. He's a new head coach. And so I want to see how the Bears handle that and kind of see what their strategy is. I know we had the loss of Jordy Nelson to the ACL injury, and Rodgers is going to be working either with Randall Cobb as the wide receiver or Eddie Lacy on the running game. And so I think the Bears are going to try to, pressure Aaron Rodgers in the pocket, try to sack him. But, we got a really solid offensive line. So, hopefully we can, minimize Rodgers being sacked the most.
Do you believe the hype around Eddie Lacy right now? I mean, people continue to say that he's going to be one of the best running backs in fantasy football this year and just be one of the best in the NFL as a whole, being a great dual threat out of the backfield, especially now that Jordy Nelson's gone down with an injury. Is that just craziness, or is there some truth to this?
I would like to say that it's there's truth to it, because I think he is realizing he has to step up as a leader for the team. Eyes are going to be on him. We need to, try to get the running game going. And I think fantasy players would really, appreciate if he did a lot more running for the Packers, so that would help their points. But, I think he realizes that this is a time of transition for Packers. We thought Jordy Nelson was going to be our main guy for wide receiver, and I think the Packers are learning that they have to, work together more as a team and, individual as a player to help establish the team this season. So definitely, I think he's going to be a big asset for the season.
So obviously, Jordy Nelson is out for the season. So the Packers, to get some veteran, quote-unquote, star power, they went and picked up James Jones from the Raiders. Now, if anybody listens to the show, they know I am not a James Jones fan.
Wait, what? You mean you haven't spent this entire last week just openly bashing James Jones on the air?
Well, I mean, I might have.
Slightly.
But I was just wondering, do you think he is a decent enough receiver? Do you think the Packers should have picked him up, or that he's going to make an impact on the team?
Well, I saw that when they were drafting him. I saw on Twitter, and I was surprised. But that's a need that we need to address on the team. We may have had bad history with him before, but, right now it's about, getting players that we need to utilize. And we can't just have, one wide receiver as Cobb. We need someone that's going to help him out, be a backup. So, what if Randall Cobb got injured? Who would we rely on? So, maybe having, James Jones there is, a good safety net and maybe, security for the team.
Well, I think that the wide receiver debate is something that could rage on for a long time, and you can make arguments about whether or not Devontae Adams is ready to go, if Jeff Janis is ready to go. They cut Miles White, which I think was their biggest mistake they've made most offseason.
Yeah.
Even though I try to advocate for the talented guys on the team, in the younger guys, so Miles White I feel like should have not been cut.
Didn't even sign him to the practice squad. They just let him go.
I think that was a horrible move, and I hope he has a great, long, illustrious career and destroys the Packers to smite them.
Whoa.
Maybe not. No. Wow. That's a bit far. That's a
Wow.
bit far. No, I don't. I know. I wish Miles the best of luck. Now, Kirsten, on your blog, you said this sportschick101 at wordpress.com. You recently wrote an article entitled Sports Fans Need to Make a Sports Bucket List. Now, I think the concept is a brilliant idea because you hear people, there's been movies made about the bucket list. There's been people talk about, oh, I want to go to Niagara Falls. I want to go to Italy. I want to go wherever before I die. Having a sports-specific bucket list is fantastic. And some of the things you mentioned on here, just make sure you splurge a little, indulge, treat yourself, have fun, find your passion, invest in your happiness. And then you go through and list some of your top things that you have on your bucket list. Do you mind sharing your motivation to write the article, but then also some of the things on your bucket list?
Yes. Well, actually, I had this inspirational moment. I was sitting at a coffee shop, and I'm like, you know what? I want to go do a sports bucket list because I see people, sports bucket lists throughout their life, and that's really cool. But then sports bucket list is for a whole another set of life. Got sports and for people who are really dedicated about sports, why not? I mean, you can sit down, get a piece of paper and write down with your friends, your family about what is your dream. I have dreams of being a sports fan, and I want to pursue that. And it was really cool because I was writing this, and my dad texted me, hey, do you want to go to a Packers game this year at Lambeau Field? And I'm like, are you serious? That's what I'm writing about.
Well,
so
really is the Pope Catholic? I mean,
yeah,
come
that's
on.
kind of that would be my response. Be like, yes.
No, I don't really want to go.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, if
Count
your
me
dad,
out.
if you decided to, be sick that weekend and your dad needed someone to go with, Grant or I would be happy to fill that spot for you. It's the least we can
Grant?
do.
Period.
No, I've never been to a regular season Packers game.
What?
I've never.
Okay, never mind. You what?
No, I've been to preseason games. I've been to family night. I worked for the Packers. I've met McCarthy. I've done the whole 9 yards, except go to a regular season game.
Oh wow! I am so sorry.
I'm sorry.
We're sorry for you.
Hey, listen, being able to spend time a little bit with Mike McCarthy and Ted Thompson and Mark Murphy is great and all. When I got to work for the Packers last summer, but it's not the same. It's not the same as going to a game. Family fun night is so overrated. It's not my fault, man. It's the fact that I'd have to sell my wife to go to a Packers game. That's about the cost of a ticket now.
We'll see. I'll see if I can hook you up, Fatty style.
If you know a guy, I'd appreciate it. So, what are some of the things on your bucket list, Kirsten?
Well, definitely, number one, going to another Green Bay Packer home game. I may go to a Chargers game. I may go to the Lions game. I'm not sure. It kind of depends on how, I want to deal with the cold weather because I'm from, the 100-degree Texas heat. I'm not used to it yet, so I have to see about that. Another one is tour the Packers Hall of Fame. I really just want to spend some time, absorb it, take in the moment, try to spend some time there if I get to go up this fall.
Especially since they just redid it now.
Yeah,
I've heard that it's
Exactly.
absolutely fantastic.
And I want to go to a Notre Dame home game again, visit the campus in the grotto with my granddad because he went to Notre Dame. So it's really like a traditional, special moment with my family. And I've always wanted to go to an English, Premier League game in England. Soccer there is a whole nother language. It's like a religion to them. It's like American football to us.
Yep.
But I really just want to try that. And, like a Super Bowl, like a World Cup, a Spurs playoff game. I know Spurs, I'm from San Antonio, so I'm raised with them. And, they're a really great team to represent. So definitely, maybe with my internship, I could go to that. Try to go to Wrigley Field, Chicago Cubs. I'm a Milwaukee Brewers fan, but, there's nothing like Wrigley Field with the Chicago, Brewers and Cubs games. So definitely some of those, and the Wisconsin Badgers football home game. My cousins go there, so that would be really cool to experience someday.
Holy cow! Well, you've got quite the bucket list there. I mean, and I'm sure you're going to be adding to it as you move forward with life as well. I mean, and that happens. I've definitely got a few things on my bucket list as well. Mine's more from a broadcast perspective. I mean, because I feel like if I can broadcast the game, it's kind of the same as going to a game within reason. It's a different experience.
Yeah.
But I know I have a few different goals as myself, and I'm sure you do too, Grant.
Oh yeah.
For your bucket list.
Yeah, definitely.
So, well, Kirsten, we really appreciate you taking the time to come on the show today. We are looking forward to having you on more on the show coming up in the next few weeks. So before we let you go, do you have any other final thoughts and a score prediction for the Packers-Bears game?
I just want to say thank you again, and then definitely for our fans, if they want to reach out, they can find me on Twitter at Kirsten Air, and then my blog, sports601.wordpress.com. And, I think maybe it's going to be a close game, definitely Packers and Bears. I'm going to say, Packers have 28, and then Bears 21. So let's see if that happens.
Okay. Well, fair enough. Well, thank you so much, Kirsten, for taking the time, and we look forward to speaking with you again in the future.
Thank you.
All right, Grant. Well, we're going to go to another break. That was fun.
How have you never been to a Bears or a Packers home game?
Because
they're
still expensive. That is still resonating in your mind after all the information we just got from Kirsten.
I am so shocked.
All the things we just learned, all the things we just chatted about.
I know,
and you're hung up on the fact that I've never been to a regular season.
I am in disarray. Shock and disarray, Baxter.
Okay.
I am so sorry for you.
Okay. We're going to a break.
No, that was a good segment.
We're going to a break. Sam Wallace is next. This is the Baxter and Grant Sports Show. Welcome back to the Bax and Grant Sports Show, presented by Sports Radio America. I'm Bax. Grant is off on a couch in the studio now because it's the time of the show where we bring in Sam Wallace, as it is his Running 101 segment here on Friday. Sam, welcome to the show.
Thanks.
How you doing?
Wonderful. It's Friday.
Friday. Fantasy football Friday.
Yeah, it's like almost better than Christmas. I feel like last night I was watching football with some friends, and I'm like, this is great.
It is.
I like this.
It was the dream last night. I had the game on last night, and my wife was like, "What is football back?" I'm like, "Oh yeah." I'm like, "It is back."
I will see you in 17 weeks.
Exactly. Well, we were talking with David Kenyon yesterday, and he's watching all the football on Sunday. And I was like, "Oh, how much are you going to watch?" He's like, "Probably about 11 hours." I was like, "Okay,
all right,
okay." Some people they've got time for that. So
must be nice. I'm kind of jealous,
right? I mean, I'm like, whatever. And that's who he is. That's why we call him the encyclopedia.
Yeah.
All right, Sam. Well, this week we are continuing on with your Running 101 segment. And last week we were talking about getting fitted properly for different shoes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a few different things that went along with that. So what do you have for us this week?
One thing I really want to touch on this week is the importance of sleep and recovery, which I think obviously is important for people in general, any sports, any profession, things like that. You're not going to perform well if you don't sleep, but especially for the strain that running puts on your body, I think is just huge, especially for people that really haven't done it before and may not be used to the level of fatigue they might be feeling. Coming from somebody who runs a lot, I know the feeling of being fatigued, pouring on a lot of miles in a week, and just kind of dealing with that. But I know how to recover from it as well. And for some new runners who they're in their first couple of weeks of a training program, they're like, man, you are going to be eating a ton more because you're going to be burning so many more calories. But then you also have to make sure that you're putting the right things in your body. So not to transition this into a nutrition talk, but sleep.
It's important, though.
Yeah, absolutely. And just the recovery. And I guess one of the things that we preach here on the team that I'm a part of at Wisconsin Lutheran College is making the easy days easy and making the hard days hard. And that's sometimes something I struggle with during the year is you get to be in incredibly good shape fitness-wise, and suddenly you find yourself running hard every day because you can. Short term, it pays off. It pays off really well. Your body has this wonderful ability to adapt very quickly, especially in the first few weeks of training. And you'll find that you'll run some pretty quick races and some pretty quick times early in the season. But long term, once you get towards conference and regionals and nationals, that you are paying for all the sleep you didn't get and the time that you didn't let your body recover. So
now, I think one thing that goes along with just being an athlete in college is the student athlete part of it, the student part of it, doing well, because you have the athletes that are just naturally just smart. Like they don't have to go to class and they still get hundreds and everything just because they're that smart, you know. But then there are the rest of the world, like myself.
Myself included.
And okay, I didn't know if you were in that other that's that 1% there.
No.
That you go to practice for a few hours, you have your team meal, you do your extra workouts, and then you go home and you do homework for a few hours, and you have, like you said, getting that sleep is so important.
Yeah.
What time you've got to have a set bedtime?
I try to. Actually, so far this week, I mean, it's only week 2 of the school year.
Yes.
So, I've been getting about 9 on average every night, which I've been thrilled
awesome.
with. Simply thrilled. I know during the first week of school, I really didn't have much homework yet, and it was 9:30. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to bed.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Because I can, and I'm going to need it later. But obviously, we preach here 8 to 10 hours, and I would preach that to anybody at any level at any time. You can't compensate for lack of sleep. There's no argument that I have ever run into, and I don't think I ever will, that will tell me that 8 to 10 hours is not enough. But yeah, it requires an incredible amount of sacrifice. Like you said, being a student athlete in college, being on a sport is really like having a part-time job. Sometimes it feels like more. I mean, I'm at practice from practices at 3:30. I usually get there about 3, touch base with my coach. Being a team captain, I have a couple little extra things I need to do before and after practice with the team and with my coach, you know, given on how long the practice is, if it includes travel time at all, things like that. We come back, we eat dinner. That's like a 4-hour chunk of my day every day. So 20 hours a week, that's about a part-time job. And then, you know, meets on the weekends and things like that. So
it's almost 30 hours. That's, like you said, it's about 29 to 30 hours a week.
Yeah, and so
meets included.
Things like that is you just learn to be productive elsewhere when you can. But again, back to that recovery is just knowing that some days, you know what, I got to shut the books. You know, I could keep studying right now, but you kind of have to find that balance. So
now, you talk about recovery, and we see almost every other day, I feel like, you know, a new drink or a new vitamin or a new this that come out and say, try this, it's the best recovery ever. Have you found anything in your travels that is extra helpful for recovering quicker?
No, I mean, it's hard to beat water. You really can't. I mean, your body's made of water, and that's what it needs to recover, especially though for long distance runners and things like that. There is still nothing wrong with the good old tried and true method of Gatorade and Powerade. I mean, yeah, there's some sugar, but they have electrolytes that you just can't find elsewhere in a lot of sports drinks. And there's a reason that, you know, their longevity has kind of preceded their name, and they've been around for so long, and I think they will be, you know, around for a long time. But again, it just comes down to knowing what your body needs and what you're using and getting the proper recovery, both food and rest following workouts. So.
Okay. Well, one more thing before we let you go. Flipping sports on you. Fantasy football.
Yeah.
This coming week. How is your team looking, and do you feel you have a chance in your upcoming game?
The game that I matched up against Zach Poppenfuss this week, the Detroit area nerdy guys, I believe, is the team that my Cuban Raft Riders are taking on.
Can we just take a moment and just appreciate your team name for a moment, the Cuban Raft Riders? That's been a consistent name for you in our league.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been stable. But I had the Patriots defense last night. And first half I was looking pretty well. Patriots defense was locking down. I took advantage of 2 missed field goals by the Pittsburgh kicker. But I was optimistic. I knew I wasn't going to be able to keep Pittsburgh out of the end zone forever. I was a little frustrated with the Ben Roethlisberger touchdown with 2 seconds left in the game.
Yeah,
that one hurt a little bit. But I came away with a 0 in defensive points after starting with 10. But for me, as long as you're not getting me negative points on defense, I think that'll be okay. But Yeah, I was a little frustrated with Julian Edelman last night having to play him. I'm glad we're not in a PPR league because he really would have torched me.
Yeah, he had 11 catches last night for 97 yards. No touchdowns, thankfully, but still.
Yeah, thankfully, but he continues to chew up yardage, and that's like a typical day at the office of Julian Edelman. I mean, he might have anywhere from 8 to 12 catches and not even break 100 yards receiving, and that's his niche in the Patriots offense.
Now, as you look at your team, you've got guys like Jamal Charles, Demaryius Thomas on your team. Who would you say is your big player this year?
My big player, I'd probably have to say Demaryius Thomas, just simply due to his just success over the years. And actually, I read an interesting stat from ESPN's Matthew Berry last week. He always puts out, fun and interesting, sometimes interesting and useful fantasy football facts. And one of his facts was in 26 of the last 30 games that Demaryius Thomas has played in, including playoffs, he has either caught a touchdown or had 100 yards receiving.
Wow.
In 26 of 30 games.
Holy cow.
And just
that'll get you places.
That level of consistency, just knowing that almost every week he's going to get you double-digit points, I really like that.
And that was a great pickup by you. So good luck this coming week. You're only down by 9 going into Sunday. Plenty of time.
Plenty of time.
You got this. Well, Sam, always a pleasure, sir. We look forward to speaking with you again next week.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
No problem. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, Grant has his rant. He's a little fuming about things going on in the New York region. You're not going to want to miss it. This is the Bax and Grant Sports Show. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Bax and Grant Sports Show, presented by Sports Radio America. I'm Bax.
And this is Grant.
It's Friday. We are excited. We're having a great show
so I'm jamming out right now.
We are.
Oh, it's good.
We need a little bit more. Just gotta keep it going.
Yeah.
Just keep it going.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway.
Okay.
Now we had a little dance party here in the studio.
We always like to have fun on Fridays.
We absolutely do. I feel like it's kind of almost like a no rules Friday for us. We just kind of let everything
kick
loose.
back.
We do. We have fun. Sam Wallace stops by. He offers his running 101 tips, and then we just had Kirsten Eyre on the show a little bit earlier talking about a sports fan's bucket list and also the upcoming Packers-Bears game as well.
Da Bears.
Fun fact, Grant. Fun fact. Irony to the nth degree. Miles White, he was waived by the Packers, as you know. He now has a new team.
Oh, boy.
I'll give you 3 guesses.
The Bears?
No.
The Raiders?
No.
Oh, I was like...
You're darn close, though. Keep going.
Oh, I'm
with
close.
With that term of, teams like that pattern.
The Browns?
No.
Okay, that was 3.
That was. It's the Giants. So the team that cut James Jones for the Packers to sign him has now signed Miles White, who was cut by the Packers. This, according to the Encyclopedia David Kenyon.
Giants, then Raiders. So
it was Raiders then Giants.
Raiders then... Oh, yeah, because he played a full season with... Right.
Yeah, he didn't clear waivers. The Giants picked him up before Green Bay had a chance to grab him, according to our Encyclopedia David Kenyon.
Did he clear on... When would he clear on waivers? Because I thought it was like
a
day.
I don't know the waiver process. Either way, the Giants were like, thank you. And now we're going to have Miles White and OBJ tearing it up. And everyone's going to be like, oh, should have listened to Baxter.
So you could have had 1 year with... This is exactly why it was dumb to pick up James Jones. Mm-hmm. Because you're picking up a veteran that you're going to use for 1 year, then you just ditched Miles White that could just go off for the Giants, and
Girl, please. Time for your rant, Grant. Let's get it going. You're
Can I just rant about that?
All right, it's time for Grant's rant. And Grant is fired up. I wanted to give you a little extra fuel.
I am angry now. That makes me...
Grant's rant.
I rarely get upset with moves that the Packers make.
But when you do.
They are correct, I say, about 95% of the time.
But he's on the practice squad. That's the official ruling about it.
Yeah, but the Giants still have him.
Yes, so maybe they're going to... You never know. You never know. All right, Grant, a minute on the clock. The way Grant's rant works is he gets a minute to rant about anything he wants in the sports world, and then we get to hash it out a little bit more in detail after that. But the fun part is Grant going off for a minute. I can't stop him. I just got to listen to him. It's. I used to say it's uncensored, unclothed, but, that scared too many fans away. So now it's censored and clothed. But still,
Maybe not after that. That was
all right. Minute on the clock, Grant. On your mark, get set, go.
Well, about all the annoying things to talk about, this is probably one of them. Eli Manning getting a new contract in the works with the New York Giants. He has a 4-year contract extension worth $84 million that would include $65 million in guaranteed money. Now, that is not officially signed, but it has been. That has been told per sources from the league and the team that monetary value has been agreed upon. The only thing really is technical wording, like with no trade clauses and yada, yada, yada. But here's the thing. Eli Manning wants to be paid this because Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, and Ben Roethlisberger are all getting $20 million over a year. It's absolutely ridiculous because those quarterbacks are good. Eli Manning, yes, he's won 2 Super Bowls, but I would still not consider him an elite quarterback. He is still subpar from Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, and Ben Roethlisberger.
Time. There we go. Time. There we go.
Okay, maybe not Russell Wilson.
Are you serious? Russell Wilson is not in the same category as Eli
Manning.
But
I'm saying I originally put him higher than...
You put Eli or Russell?
Yeah, I put Russell Wilson higher than Eli Manning. Really?
That Russell Wilson's better right now, yeah. Eli's declined the last few years. And Russell Wilson has a better supporting cast.
Well, yes, I definitely agree with that, but that doesn't mean you're a better player then.
I suppose. Take Odell Beckham Jr. out of the conversation for the Giants, and
Victor Cruz.
Guys like a banged-up, coming back from injury Victor Cruz. You've got Ruben Randle. You've got Miles White, even though he's on the practice squad.
That's so annoying.
Rashad Jennings running back. I mean, it's not an awful team, but Seattle.
Right.
I think Seattle dominates most of those categories. I would. It's hard because Eli has won 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah, but that's okay. It's kind of the rule of thumb where you can tell a good quarterback if he's won a Super Bowl or not.
Yes.
Like, you're a decent quarterback if you can win a Super Bowl, and he's won 2.
So you would call Trent Dilfer a decent quarterback?
I said a good general rule of thumb.
Yes, not
all the time.
Some of those Super Bowls in the early 2000s were a little iffy.
Well, like, for example, Seahawks, or any, like, another, like, general saying, defensives win championships.
Sure. So,
like, Legion of Boom. I mean,
they won it for Russell that 1 year.
Right, and they almost won in the second year.
They did.
Anyway, he still has won 2 Super Bowls, but people are still, is he really an elite quarterback? And I don't really think he is, because...
Russell or Eli?
Eli. Sorry, talking about Eli.
Yeah, Eli, no. Eli,
and he doesn't...
Not anymore.
And then, and he's like his brother, declining, getting up there in age, playing for a while. But he wants to play for... He wants a 4-year contract extension worth $65 million. It's guaranteed and worth $84 million. Putting him up there with... Because that's $17.5 million a year. And that's... Like, we were talking about it earlier before the show. Like, he just wants that because Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson and Ben Roethlisberger... He's
complaining about not getting paid enough money based on everybody else. He's like, well, they're getting paid more than me.
Yeah, but they're winning right now.
And they're actually good. Not that Manning's terrible. Manning is not an awful quarterback. I mean, you can look at it a few different ways, honestly. But, I mean, if he gets the contract, good for him, I guess. he's earned it. He's got 2 Super Bowls. I think the man deserves to get,
I guess,
rewarded for his efforts, but it's not something that I would have paid him as much money as he's getting. So, before we go to another break, Grant, do you have any other spewing things about Miles White?
Yeah, it's they added to the practice squad for the Giants. So, Packers, I think, making a little bit of a debacle here, in my personal opinion.
Wow. We'll
I am really mad about that.
Well, we're going to let Grant fume off. We're going to go dunk him in some water and get him an IV to calm him down. We'll be right back. This is the Baxton Grant Sports Show. Welcome back to the Baxton Grant Sports Show, presented by Sports Radio America. I'm Bax.
And this is Grant.
All right, Grant. We've had a great show thus far today. Special thanks to Kirsten Eyre and Sam Wallace for stopping by earlier, and for the encyclopedia David Kenyon that continues to text in and make us sound way smarter than we actually are at times. So that's why we appreciate him, because he can text me things during the show, and I'll be like, oh, by the way, Grant, did you know this? And then, I'll be like, look at me. I look super smart.
Oh, if you ever want to not feel super smart, I told you, Baxter, about this video, but I can't remember his name right now, but just Google or search on YouTube, whatever, remembering all of the scores, places, MVPs, and teams in all 49 Super Bowls. And I believe he works for ESPN. I think he's on NFL Insider, but he just went off and just named them like that, and it's absolutely ridiculous.
That's
so,
disgusting.
David, I'd like to see you do that. I'd like to see you do that.
You might be able to. We'll have to put together an ultimate encyclopedia quiz. Maybe you should write a book.
We should do that. Just like
one
kind
day,
of like on a Friday, just
throwing out
ridiculous questions and see, or like memorization
within reason.
questions.
We got to make sure he's in his realm, because you can't just ask him, hey, who's the backup goalie for the San Jose Earthquakes? No one knows and cares.
I wouldn't even know to ask that question.
Exactly.
Let alone the answer. But no, yeah, about football.
Yeah. All right, Grant. Well, normally on Fridays we play Name 5 Friday, and we're going to be altering it a little bit today, since it is just me, myself, and you. If that makes sense, instead of me, myself, and I. We have no challenger for you this week, which is fine. I think you need a week to recover. You got back-to-back poundings by Simon Mitchell. And
okay, when it say pounding for the first one, definitely pounding for the second one.
Simon beat you 24-22. That was a close match.
That's pretty close.
You fought hard. But
that's close.
David beat you last week. I believe it was
25 to 12.
No, it was 24.9.
25
to 13.
25.
Yes, to 13. It was 24.
It counts.
It's in the record books as 24.
No, it's in the record books as 25.
He said the wrong thing. All right, Grant. So the way we're going to do it is we're going to use the sportsquotient.com. We're going to both take an SQ quiz or squiz or however you say it. Grant will get a lot of 10 questions, and I will get a lot of 10 questions. They're all multiple choice, and whoever has the higher score at the end wins. Fair enough? Would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first?
I'll just go first.
Okay, first question for you, Grant, is how long is the Bills' current playoff drought? 8 seasons, 12 seasons, 15 seasons, or 22 seasons? This is all NFL questions.
I'm trying to remember. We'll go with 12, I think. I think it was 12 seasons.
All right. And your answer, according to the Sports Quotient, if my computer wants to cooperate, which appears like it's not going to.
Uh-oh.
Well, I'm going to refresh the page because it wasn't like.
Uh-oh. Technical difficulties,
Never
everybody.
a dull moment. Never. Oh, you got it wrong.
Okay.
It was 15 seasons.
Unfortunately.
15 seasons. All right. Next question. Who was second in the NFL in rushing yards in 2014? Justin Forsett, LaShawn McCoy, Eddie Lacy, or Le'Veon Bell?
Le'Veon Bell.
Let's see. Your answer. And we're going to do this again every time. It's just terrible. It's absolutely terrible. Well, you know what, Grant? I'd like to. Oh, that was correct. Well done.
All right.
Well done. Apparently, it takes me refreshing the page for it to work.
Because not LaShawn McCoy, but Cowboys.
DeMarco Murray.
DeMarco Murray was number 1.
Yes. So your quiz reset, which is unfortunate.
All right.
So let's try this again. What network was the 2002 the first kickoff game shown on? NBC, Fox, CBS, or ESPN?
Fox. No, lied. NBC.
Back in 2002. I think we have to wait a moment. So once I push the button.
This was not working like the. It was working
going
a
way
lot
quicker
better
last
like this
time.
when we were
Oh,
working.
there we go. It was wrong. That was ESPN.
ESPN.
So we do
alright.
have to press the button, talk for a second, and then it shows up.
All right.
Next question. Moving along. What team is the Women's Football Alliance did Jen Weltner play for? Good luck on this one. Chicago Force, Boston Militia, Seattle Majestics, or Dallas Diamonds?
The Dallas Diamonds, because why not? What's the women's football?
I didn't know there was such a thing.
And who's Jen Welter?
I don't know. Why are we all supposed to know who that is?
I don't know. I really don't know. I think I should get a mulligan on that question.
Honestly.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
Well, if this, it's not okay. Oh, that was correct. Well done.
Oh, get on my level,
Well
Jen
done.
Welter. You're
All
welcome.
right. All right, Grant. Who did the Washington Redskins lose to in the playoffs after winning the division in 2012? The Cowboys, the Seahawks, the Falcons, or the 49ers?
I just read this, and I think it was the Seahawks.
In 2012. Okay. I will push the button.
No, I might be wrong on that. Never mind. I'm probably wrong, but let's see.
Well, I push the button while it takes a moment to think about itself and figure out everything. I don't know. This is really cramping my style, honestly.
Oh, I think I got it right. I Googled it, and it says... Let's see.
Well, this is not as working as quickly as
Right.
I wanted it to, and we don't have that kind of time. And we're almost out of time. So, in that regards... Oh, that makes sense. Once again, why do I even bother? Because when else fails... David Kenyon sent us a text saying Jen Welter is the first assistant coach for the Arizona Cardinals.
That's
in the preseason.
right.
Which is kind of a big deal.
Well, yeah, I just forgot
knew
that was her
the name sounded familiar.
The name did sound familiar, but I was just like, I don't remember where it came from. And by the way, I was right. I Googled it. It was Seattle.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done. Let's see. Green Bay, to the 2012 playoffs. Wow. Minnesota lost to Green Bay 24-10. Baltimore beat Indy 24-9. Seattle beat Washington 24-14. And Houston beat Cincinnati 19-13. Probably the last time Houston won a playoff game. Baltimore, Denver. Oh, that was the 24-31 Colin Kaepernick going AWOL.
45-31.
Yeah, against the Packers. Huh. That's interesting.
Looking back at old playoff games that made you cry. Good stuff.
No, I'm not crying too badly.
Still not bitter about it.
When Colin Kaepernick was like, I'm going to show you how to run the read option.
And now it's like other people like, here, I'll show you how to play the position of quarterback.
Yeah.
Pretty much what it is now.
It is. It really is. Well,
apologize for that.
We had it all lined up, and for some reason, the website was being a little slow with us today. So let this be said and done that from henceforth, everything will be done on paper, so we will never have to deal with...
We're just going to do the show via smoke signals with
Honestly.
how technically it's been going.
We're going to carrier pigeon the show to everybody that listens across the greater United States of America.
Well, we'll get a scribe. We'll just write it down, and then we'll send it to everybody.
Hear ye, the town crier, as it is. Well, Grant, another exciting edition of the Baxter Grant Sports Show is in the bags. Special thanks to Sam Wallace and Kirsten Eyre for stopping by and sharing their awesome knowledge on the sports world. And for you, Grant, for your rant and just everything that you say that makes me giggle on a daily basis. Did you have a good week? You had a good week on the show?
I had a great week on the show. The Packers kind of ruined it with this whole James Jones shenanigans. But you know what? It was made up by Gronk last night, just going absolutely ham. I'm surprised Dave, out of all the time that David's been commenting throughout the show, that's the one thing that he hasn't been commenting on. Maybe he's getting nervous.
No, maybe he's
nervous.
Maybe you should be nervous because
I know. I'm so scared.
He's silent.
I'm so scared.
Don't be scared, Grant. And don't be scared to listen to our show, too. You can catch us Monday through Friday from 7 to 8 a.m. Central live right here on Spreaker.com and also on Sports Radio America from 11 to 1 p.m. Central on Live 365 and tune in. Also, go back and check our shows out anytime you want to. Go back and listen to the first ever show. We're only 10 away from 100, for gosh sakes. And you can go back and listen to what we used to sound like back on iHeartRadio, on Spreaker.com, and on iTunes as well.
You can also find us on Facebook at the Baxter Grant Sports Show. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at BG Sports Show. Baxter is on Twitter at Baxter Colburn. And I'm also on Twitter at Grant's Rant BGSS. That's at Grant's Rant BGSS.
Absolutely. Remember, you can email the show anytime you want at bgsportshow@gmail.com. And you can also watch the show on Periscope as well. Thanks so much for tuning in. Special thanks to everybody that stopped in. Fantasy football, NFL, Packers, everything's back this weekend. We'll see you all on Monday for a NFL-heavy edition of the Baxter Grant Sports Show. Don't miss it. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. Fantasy football. Grant, he's coming for you, David. Watch out. Have a great weekend, everyone.